DK, I have a quiz. 3 questions, quick answers.
Go for it.
What's the most discussed skills gap in digital transformation right now?
AI and data?
Correct. Second question. What's the second most discussed skills gap in digital transformation right now?
Cybersecurity, depending on which paper you're reading and what day of the week it is, I guess.
Also correct. Third question. What is the skills gap that is actually killing transformation programs inside organizations right now that nobody is writing articles about?
Do you want me to say it or you want me to say it?
I want you to say it.
Judgment, translation, the ability to look at a vendor pitch and call out nonsense. The skill set we cannot put a job description to because nobody can name it.
Hit the music. That is this episode. We make mistakes.
We learn.
We grow.
We share.
Shamelessly.
This is Shameless Tuesdays,
The digital transformation podcast brought to you by Transformation Leader.
Welcome to Shameless Tuesdays. I'm Dzikamai, Gangaidzo, the host of the Shameless podcast, as well as a mining engineer.
And I'm Nono Bokete. Today is the Contrarian episode. Every episode that we do tries to talk about something that is specific to digital transformation. And we've been reading a lot of reports that cross our desk in the last 2 years that say the same thing about digital transformation skills gap. We need more AI specialists, more data engineers, more cyber people, and more cloud architects.
And the data backs that up. In South Africa, the World Economic Forum found that over 60% of businesses say skill gaps are the key barriers to business transformation by 2030.
In Zimbabwe, nearly half of the on-the-job skills are expected to change in the next 5 years. That is structural, not cyclical.
And the response? Almost universally across Africa, across the US, Europe, have been the same. Hire more technical people, build more AI capacity, reskill the workforce in data.
Which is fine. It's not wrong, but it is missing something. And the something is missing is what this episode is about.
So 2 community stories today, one from a health sector in Texas, Austin, and one from a telco in Accra, Ghana. Different continents, different industries, different cultures, different stages of seniority, same underlying problem.
Both of them are looking at the same truth. The visible skills gap is real. It is just not the gap that determines whether transformation succeeds. So the first story, I'm calling her Janelle. She's the Senior Vice President of Digital Transformation at a regional health system in Austin, Texas, around 11,000 employees, 6 hospitals, a network clinic, and she wrote to us a while ago. So over the last 2 years, we have invested heavily in closing what we believed was our digital skills gap. We have hired 5 data engineers, 2 clinical data scientists, and a head of AI who reports directly to me. We have a contract with a consultancy firm that placed 3 AI specialists with us. We have funded an internal data fluency program that has put around 200 of our directors and managers through technical foundations training. The total spend is approximately $4.6 million across people, tools, and training. We have started 2 flagship AI use cases, a sepsis prediction model, a clinical scheduling optimization system. Both are technically sound and both are stuck. The model produces alerts that the clinical staff often dismisses. The scheduling system produces recommendations that the unit managers override. We have the technical skill. We do not have the outcomes. I am about to be asked by our CEO and board why our digital investment is not converting into clinical and operational impact. I'm generally not sure how to answer. Have we hired the wrong people, or are we missing something else entirely? DK, any thoughts on this?
Well, so my first thought to Janelle is that you probably haven't hired the wrong people. You have just hired only half of the team. The half you're missing is the half that nobody is currently writing job descriptions for.
Okay, so tell us a little bit more about that half, DK.
Okay, it is the people who stand between your data scientists and all your technical people and your clinical staff and translate one to the other. Right now, the sepsis prediction system is producing technically correct alerts that the nurses and physicians are not trusting enough to act on. That is not a data engineering problem. That is a translation problem. You do not need another data engineer. You need somebody who can sit in the ward, watch how the clinicians actually make decisions under time pressures, understand why they are dismissing the alerts, and redesign the way that the system delivers the output so that it fits how the clinical team actually thinks and works.
And that person is not a data engineer. That person is not an AI specialist. That person is what some systems call as clinical informaticist. But most do not have anywhere near enough of them. They have the clinical credibility to be listened to on the floor and the technical literacy to push back on the engineering team when the model is producing outputs that do not respect clinical reality.
So, Janelle, the second thing, and, I really love those 2 points and to build on top of that is that your scheduling optimization system is producing recommendations that the unit managers override. Somebody needs to be sitting with the unit managers, capturing why they're overriding, feeding that back into the model and tightening the system over time.
And again, the role is not the data scientist. The data scientist builds the model. The role you need is one who keeps the model honest after it goes live.
No, I want to read a number from the Deloitte report that we used in episode 3. And it was something like 93% of investment goes towards technology. 7% goes towards people. Janelle's $4.6 million is exactly that spent. She has spent on the technical side, the data engineering, the specialist, the data academy, who knows, all things technical. She has not spent on the translation side of that piece. And it fits, it sticks.
Yeah, and the thing is, the translation side is not a skills gap that LinkedIn ads can fix. You cannot post a job for senior digital translator and get qualified applicants. The skill set exists, but it lives inside people who have been quietly doing it for years in roles called by other names: nursing, informatics director, operations transformation lead, clinical quality director, program manager, those sorts of roles.
And those sort of people are in your system right now. So the question is whether you can identify them and elevate them, because they will put themselves forward. They probably won't, actually. They won't put themselves forward. Their skills are invisible to most HR systems. It does not show up cleanly in a job description. It does not show up on a performance review. It is the skill of making complicated technical work fit messy clinical reality. And that skill, by definition, leaves no clean paper trail.
Yeah, so let me give you something that you could probably say in your board meeting. The question you're going to be asked is, why is our digital investment not converting into impact? Here is a sentence you can say: we invested in the technical half of the capability and we're missing the translation half. We have the engineers. We do not yet have the practitioners who can land the technical work inside the operating model. Our next investment is not more engineers. It's the translation layer.
And the board will hear that a bit. And because somebody in that room has been that person trying to land work that nobody adopted. Somebody on that board knows exactly what we are describing. Whether they served in another hospital board where this happened, or a payer group or a bank board pattern, is agnostic to towards which industry that you're working in.
There are three concrete things to put in your follow-up paper to the board. One, identify three internal people who already do this translation work in some form: a senior clinical informaticist, operations transformation lead, a quality director. Promote them, give them a formal mandate, attach them to the flagship use cases. Two, pause hiring net new data engineers for the next 12 months and redirect the budget to building this translation cadre, right? So three, you also want to change the success measure of the AI program from deployed to adopted in clinical decision making for 90 days.
The third one is the one that will make the engineers uncomfortable because their current incentive ends at deployment. You are extending that incentive to adoption. The changes, and that changes their behavior, and quite frankly, probably challenges them too.
And the engineers who are good will rise to that, DK. The engineers who are not really there to land the work, they will self-select out. And that's also useful.
Look, everyone's got a special skill, and maybe some engineers just don't have that skill in them. But anyways, you are not in a skills gap crisis. You are in a skill gap misdiagnosis. And that's what the crisis actually is. The good news is the cost of correcting it is much, much lower than the cost of the gap that you thought you had.
Mm.
Since we've talked about Janelle, maybe we go to the second story and a different shape in different continent altogether. And I'm going to call this guy Quincy.
Hey.
I like that. Quincy. He is a senior regional director at a telco in Ghana. And I don't know why he put it in his head, but he's in his mid-50s. So about 24 years across telcos, financial services. He wrote in last week, and here's what he had to say. My group CEO sat me down last month and told me in the kindest possible way that I need to reskill in AI. No wonder he gave us his age. He pointed at an external program run out of one of the European business schools. He said the group is investing in everybody about a certain level getting to AI fluency. I said yes in the meeting, but sitting here writing this, I do not believe him. I have been around enough technology transitions to know that the people who succeed with the last big shift in our industry, the move from voice to data, then the move from mobile into mobile money, were not the ones who became technology experts. They're the ones who could read the change and influence the right people through it. I am being asked to add a technical skill to my resume that I am not sure I need. And I'm worried that if I say no, I'll be marked as a resistant. But if I say yes, I'll spend 6 months learning something that will not change how I lead, how I think, act. What do I do? No, this one is yours. Channel that inner 50-year-old.
So Quincy, first thing, you are right. And it is unusual for somebody at your level of seniority to be self-aware enough to know that the diagnosis being handed to you is wrong. Most people your age and level would either accept it or fight it. You're doing something rare. You are interrogating it. So well done.
And the instinct is correct, Nono. But let me add the nuance, I think. He should not just dismiss the AI reskilling. There is a version of AI fluency that he does need. The version his CEO is offering is probably not that version.
Right. So, Quincy, here is the distinction. There are three different things that get called AI skills in current corporate language. Most leaders and most HR functions conflate all three. They are not the same thing.
Walk me through them. I'm curious to hear what you got to say.
So one, technical AI skills. So that's like building models, training systems, writing code that interacts with machine learning pipelines. This is what the data scientists and the engineers do. You do not need this, Quincy. Nobody at your level needs this.
True. AI usage fluency. Using ChatGPT, using Claude, using Copilot on your daily work. Some of this is useful. A lot of it gets oversold because you probably need some of this. I think personally would add a lot. Not 6 months of training, maybe 2 afternoons and then just practice. One good prompt after the other. 12 hours later, you should be good.
Yeah. And the last one would be AI judgment. The capacity to look at an AI-led proposal from a vendor or an internal team and ask the right questions. Is this use case even possible at the scale? Is the data foundation in place? Do we have the right governance? What's the cybersecurity risk? Is the team incentivized to adopt this? What happens at month 3 when they override the rate climbs? What's the cost of inaction if we say no? This is a skill set most senior leaders genuinely need, in my opinion. And it is one almost no reskill an AI program actually teaches.
Because AI judgment is not a learned thing within the classroom. It is learned by sitting 2 to 3 or even 4 real AI rollouts and watching them succeed or fail and asking why.
Yeah, so this is what I would do if I were you. Do not say no to your CEO. Reframe the yes.
Tell us.
So you want to go back to him and say, I've been thinking about this point about reskilling. I want to make sure I do this in a way that compounds, not in a way that ticks a box. Can I propose a 3-part plan? 1, I will do the practical fluency piece, 2 afternoons of practice with the tools so I can use them in my own work. 2, I will pair myself with each of our 3 biggest AI initiatives as an executive sponsor and meet with the team monthly to learn how the deployments are actually going. 3, I will write you a quarterly note on what I'm learning specifically about the judgment calls we are getting right and the ones we're getting wrong as a group. That is the reskill that will actually change how I lead.
That is a complete reframe. The CEO offered him a training course. He's offering the CEO an operating discipline.
And here's the thing, the CEO will accept this because what the CEO actually wants is not for Quincy to know what a transformer model is. What the CEO actually wants is for the group's senior leadership to have credible judgment about AI decisions. The training course was a proxy. Quincy is offering the real thing.
No, that's a related point I want to flag. Quincy is 24 years in the telco and the financial services. His real superpower right now is not the technical fluency. His real superpower is the pattern recognition across enough change cycles to know what a wrong diagnosis looks like and what the right one also looks like. The group should be using that, not retaining him into a junior version of somebody else.
And this is the thing about the skills gap conversation that nobody says. Senior practitioners who have been through 3 transformation cycles have a skill set that you cannot teach. They know what a real change feels like at month 3. They know which vendor pitch is the 3rd version of the one they saw fail in 2014. They have the judgment to call something nonsense without being able to explain it technically why. The judgment is rare. It is valuable, and most organizations are systematically trying to retrain it out of their senior people because the new shiny thing has arrived and the language for AI fluency feels more current.
So the move is not to defend your career. The move is to redefine what the group should be asking from you. Use the AI conversation as a lever and not as a shield.
And one more thing I would say, because I want to read you a number from the Accenture report this year. Half of workers using AI are reluctant to admit it. Half, right? So they worry about being seen using AI will make them look replaceable. That is a hidden dynamic inside your group right now. In every team, on every floor, the senior leader who can name the dynamic openly and create the conditions for honest conversations about it, the leader is worth 10 data scientists. The leader is not produced by a Reskill program. The leader is produced by 20 years of paying attention to how people actually behave in organizations under pressure.
Quincy, and that's what you are. That is your job. Do not let the group reduce you to a training course.
Yeah, DK, the synthesis, what is the underlying skill set both stories are pointing at?
I want to give 4 names because I do not think one word just covers it. Translation, judgment, political literacy, and evaluative thinking under AI pressure.
So translation being able to stand between the technical team and the operating team and convert one to the other, both directions. Whether the operating team is clinical technicians in Texas or commercial manager in Accra, the move is the same.
Judgment, knowing which AI use case is real, which one is a vendor's quarterly target, knowing when a model is producing technically correct output that nobody should act upon.
Yeah, and then the political literacy, I really love this one. Reading which executive sponsorship is real and which is performative. Reading which override patterns is healthy resistance and which is a cultural problem.
And evaluative thinking. The ability to look at an AI-generated answer and think, is this right? What is this missing? What would I do differently from this insight? What should I ignore? Not technical evaluation, but judgment level evaluation.
And none of these show up cleanly in a job description. None of them have a certification. You cannot post an ad for director of judgment.
Well, try. You probably won't get one. And they get systematically underdeveloped. The skills the market can describe get the budget. The skills the market cannot describe get ignored.
And then the transformations fail. Not because the technical skills were missing, because the skills that turn technical work into business outcomes were missing.
Here is the most uncomfortable thing about this. If you're listening to this and you have these skills, and many of you do, you are probably underpaid relative to the technical people in your organization because your skills are harder to defend in compensation conversation. I bring judgment, does not negotiate, as well as I am a senior data engineer.
And that is a real problem. And the only thing that fixes it is the practitioners being able to name skills clearly enough that an organization can value it, which is one of the reasons this episode exists. So I want us to close on 7 things fast. The skills gap nobody talks about and what to do about it. Go, DK.
1, the visible skill gap, data engineers, AI specialists, cyber security personnel, cloud, is real, but it is half of the story. Closing it alone will not provide you delivery of transformation.
2, the invisible skills gap is translation, judgment, political literacy, and evaluative thinking under AI pressure. These are the skills that turn technical work into business outcomes.
3, if you are an organization, before you hire another data engineer, ask yourself if you have anybody who can land their job inside the operating model. If you do not, that is the next hire or your next promotion.
4, the people who can do this work are already inside your building. They've been doing it quietly for years under other titles. Promote them, give them a formal mandate, pay them what the technical people get paid.
Number 5, if you are an individual practitioner, the AI fluency you need is not the AI fluency that you're being sold. You need usage fluency, 12 hours. You need judgment fluency built by sitting alongside real deployments, not in a classroom.
6, if your CEO tells you to reskill in AI, do not say no and do not blindly say yes. Reframe the offer. Offer an operating discipline, not a course completion.
7, the senior practitioner who has seen transformations and multiple transformation cycles has a skill set that no reskill program can teach. That pattern recognition is rare and valuable. Do not let the AI conversation reduce the practitioner to a junior version of somebody else.
So Janelle, Quincy, if you're listening, come back and tell us what happened. Janelle, the board meeting, Quincy, the conversation with your CEO, we are interested in both.
And if you're inside an organization that is investing heavily in visible skill gap and watching the outcomes not land, whether that is in Texas, in Accra, Nairobi, Johannesburg, China, wherever you are, send us your story. We will change the names. We will protect you. The pattern is the lesson.
That is it from us this week. I am Nono.
And I'm Dzikamai Gangaidzo.
This was Shameless Tuesdays.
If this episode was useful for you, send this to one person, a senior leader who is being asked to be reskilled, or an HR director who's planning the next training program, or a practitioner who knows their judgment is being undervalued. One person, the right person.
Be shameless out there.
This podcast is brought to you by Transformation Leader. You can follow us at www.t4leader.com.